The fundamental structure in your boards that you want to build are called transmission lines. Now, a lot of times people hear transmission lines, they instantly go to controlled impedance. That's a special case. A transmission line is any space that's bounded by two conductors. A capacitor we use for storing energy is actually just two conductors separated by a dielectric. For field to exist, you need two conductors separated by a dielectric. Anything less than this, where you have two conductors that are 180 degrees from each other, this is 377 ohms. As the conductors get closer and closer together, we start to reduce the impedance. Impedance is way more important than resistance or inductance now, the rest of your lives. So that the field, it takes less field in that space to achieve a specific voltage or field density. And the field desperately wants to change the world around it. So if there's a space that's smaller, it can make into itself, it's going to do its best to go into that space. So if there's any pair of conductors, hopefully it's the ones you want it to be in, the field is going to jump into those spaces. It's going to move serially into that. As soon as a space is connected to a space where field exists. So every conductor pair is a transmission line. So thousands and thousands of them on every circuit board. That's from trace to plane, doesn't matter. The field goes in that space. Our job is to make sure that most of the field goes through the spaces that we choose. So the energy does its job instead of messing with everything else. It's like kids in the back seat, you know, poking each other. He touched me. No, he didn't. So this is the simple perspective that I've been able to come up. It's threes. Everything's just threes. We need three things to hold field, two conductors separated by a space. You get three components only. You get a conductor, you get a dielectric, and you get a switch. That's all there is in the universe. There aren't any other components. You buy a chip from me, it's got 1,000,000 switches in it. Maybe more, who knows? You can only do three things with field. You can store it, you can move it, or you can convert it into kinetic energy. There's nothing else. Either you do each of these on purpose, or it's going to happen no matter what you do. Use the electromagnetic field to turn a motor. Use it to drive a speaker. Use it to heat up the filaments in a light. Because the light doesn't make light because there's electrons flowing through the filament making it hot. It's because the field's moving back next to it, and that's vibrating the molecules in the filament, making it hot. Because that filament now is one of the conductors of a pair the field's moving in.